The Will You Grow Show goes live Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. To receive notifications, click the subscribe button beneath this video, or visit YouTube's Will You Grow channel to see more shows and videos. And now, here's Will You founder Angelique Medow with this week's Will You Grow Show.
Welcome to the Will You Grow Show. How are you? My name is Angelique, and I'm here to ignite your inner courage to liberate yourself from limitations. I'm the founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com, an inspirational multimedia company that provides personal growth and joy through education, conversations, and adventures. Our weekly grow shows, like the one you're watching today, begin by tackling touchy subjects that'll tickle your tempestuous thoughts, fan your eternal flame, and salve your soul with hope. Halfway through, we'll take a 60-second look at what people have to say about us and share any new goodies we've created just for you. Then we'll go hands-on to talk fun tips and tools to begin implementing today's lesson into your life. Here in the studio with me today are our audio aficionado, Ben.
That's me, yes.
And our video Santa, Neil.
Good morning, everyone.
They help make this show happen while sharing their colorful quips and comments. Today's episode is sponsored by Life and Nature, who keep our hearts beating and our world turning, for which we are very thankful. And we also thank each and every viewer who hits the like, share, and subscribe buttons today. We are glad you're here. Now, on to today's episode. Stop seeking validation. Do we seek validation by asking other people questions like, how do I look in these jeans? Or, what should I do? Or to take the lead from Mad TV and Al Franken's book, why do we ask other people questions like, am I good enough? Am I smart enough? And doggone it, do people like me? In today's episode, we'll discuss why we seek validation from others and alternatives that allow us to feel better and reach our higher potential. So what is validation? Although some of us may already know what validation is, I'll share a little external validation from Merriam-Webster.com. Because as they say there at Merriam-Webster.com, we're never too cool to learn a little something new. So, from Merriam-Webster and me, here's an external definition of validation. Validation is a tool to determine the degree to which something is true. I'll say it again. Validation is a tool to determine the degree to which something is true. Said more simply, when we doubt whether something is true, we may seek a tool such as someone else's opinion to tell us whether or not something is actually true. The trouble with seeking validation outside of ourselves is that the other person may not know the truth, or may lie about the truth to suit their purpose. So why do we seek people to validate truth? Let's face it, many answers that people give are not truth, but rather they're their opinions. For example, if I ask the question, how do I look in these jeans? What I look like is not a fact. It is an opinion, and I'm pretty sure it will vary from person to person. So whose answer is true? All answers are true in some way to the person speaking. However, why would I allow someone else's opinion of my body to be my truth? If we live in uncertainty of our true value, we seek validation from others. When we don't know our real, deeper value as a being, we may rely on the opinions of others, also called likes on social media, attaboys and girls at work, and attention at home to validate our superficial, egoic value. This is an attempt to momentarily appease our need to feel accepted and important. Certainty in ourself and life does not come from other people. If our certainty came from other people, then no matter what was happening in our world, the fact that some other people have found certainty, unification, differentiation, and bliss would mean that we all could, or already do at some level experience all of those things. So no, each of us individually is responsible for finding our own truth and certainty at a level where it cannot be disturbed. No one else can do this for us. Certainty and validation are in our true value and intuitive guidance. And on the deepest level, our true value and intuitive guidance are one. This is the unchanging reality referenced by saints, saviors, Buddhas, yogis, and masters of all ages. Is it possible to be certain within ourselves and not seek external validation? In my opinion and experience, the answer is yes. And you can read about lots of other people who agree. Intuition can rarely, if ever, be validated by another person. To the contrary, intuitive guidance is often rebuked or scorned by those who fear it or seek control. I've been told that the intuitive guidance I've received was wrong, crazy, wild, and ridiculous. Until later, when those people received physical validation of its truth. The difference between me and those folks was I did not wait to receive a physical demonstration, also known as physical proof, in order to be certain that the intuitive guidance I received was true. Will we choose validation from others or sanctification within? There's a word for being assured or certain of our truth. It's called sanctification. To call in Merriam-Webster once again, the word sanctification means, quote, declaring something holy, purified, or morally right or acceptable, unquote. When we are sanctified, we know what is true in our heart and mind, and we do not look to the opinions or truths of others to validate our knowing. So, with all this said, why might we seek external validation over sanctification? Here are 5 reasons of a long list of potential reasons why we might choose to seek external validation over sanctification. 1. We're afraid of being wrong. We may have been raised to believe that we need to ask an authority figure, also known as someone else, to learn what is true. If we've done this our whole life, we may be afraid to upset our own apple cart of assurance that other people actually know what's true. 2. We're afraid of being an outcast. Do we want to fit in with other people who also seek validation from others? If so, we may be afraid to stand up for our inner truth for fear that these people will no longer like us or will withhold their attention and affection from us. 3. We're afraid of not getting what we want, so we shape ourselves around receiving the validation from others. 4. We may be afraid of being right. If our intuitive guidance is correct, and we are right in following it, we also may need to change. This leads us to our last of potentially many reasons why we might seek validation from others over sanctification and certainty within ourselves. Number 5, we're afraid of change, so we allow the validation of others to limit us into staying the same. So, will we continue to invite this level of uncertainty by seeking validation outside of ourselves? If we can relate to any of those 5 reasons, or we thought of our own reason for seeking validation from others, we may feel dependent on others, resentful of them, and unhappy. External validation may have been the only life we've known, and it may seem like the only way life can be. If we relate the idea that uncertainty and validation seeking is the norm, then here are some reasons we might consider inner validation and sanctification as an alternative. What are the results of seeking validation? I'll share with you some physical, fact-like validation from a medical doctor on a psychological website, and then share my inner conviction and experience about the negative results of seeking external validation. As shown in an article on the American Psychology Association website written by Eileen Strauss-Cohen, PhD, on July 13, 2018, quote, "When others' acceptance of you impacts how you make decisions about where you spend your time, you lose awareness of what's important to you, what drives you, and what makes you happy. You might feel stuck doing work you don't particularly enjoy and continue habits that are counterproductive." And the quote continues, "If this feels true for you, it's time to focus your energy on getting in touch with what really matters to you. When you live in line with what you value, your life becomes much simpler and more effortless," unquote. As listed on WebMD, an absence of validation from others can zap the patient's motivation to move forward in a positive direction. Also on WebMD, some cases of validation seeking may develop into histrionic personality disorder. In these cases, quote, "People's self-esteem depends on the approval of others and does not arise from a true feeling of self-worth. These people have an overwhelming desire to be noticed and often behave dramatically or inappropriately to get attention. The word histrionic in this case means dramatic or theatrical," unquote. And a variety of sources cite that seeking external validation can lead to anxious behaviors, inconsistent breathing, digestive and colon issues, headaches, and depression. So, with all of these reasons to not seek external validation, we might wonder, is it possible to validate oneself? It has been my experience that with practice it is possible to validate myself. In the beginning, it was challenging since seeking validation is a habit that needs to be broken just like any other addiction. And that's the way we need to treat it, like a bad habit that numbs our intuitive guidance and leaves us seeking people to prop up our essential well-being. What's increased my certainty, peace, and confidence in my inner guidance and truth is a whole lot of practice, failures, and experiences. I'll share my most recent experience in my journey to self-validation and sanctification. On Tuesday, August 24th of this year, I was in a recorded phone call during which I expressed my physical and emotional discomfort. I could feel like as if there was the effervescence of some sort of soda pop underneath my skin. It felt jittery. I felt unsettled. I felt very uncomfortable. And I'd like to share with you what I had said in this recorded phone conversation about how I felt in that conversation on the 24th.
There are a number of things. I can continually acknowledge that the fear has been there, especially over the last week, but that does not help anything. You have a choice between being afraid or having faith and being grateful. So yeah, there are a number of things. There's a feeling of almost like when you know there's going to be an earthquake, and you just know that something's happening. So you know that something is happening, but you don't know what it is.
So that was on the 24th. During the night of Monday, August 30th, 2021, I was awakened from sleeping by the feeling of being shaken. Holy cow, there it is, I said to myself. I did not seek physical validation from the person with whom I was speaking, nor from the earth, but the validation was received. And a few days later, out of curiosity, I looked up the records of earthquakes in my area, and sure enough, the one I felt on August 30th was listed. At 11:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there was a 2.4 magnitude earthquake 7 kilometers from my city. Interestingly, it was only reported by 5 people. I couldn't help but wonder if I was the only one to have intuitively known that this earthquake was coming, or if there were others who sensed this as well. As we might imagine, this intuitive ability to sense and perceive, although sometimes can be unsettling, can be extremely valuable as an informant of our surroundings and what is vital and important to our health and safety, which is why it's so important to me that I share this information with you, to encourage you to develop this connection and sense within yourself, and to not, please do not seek validation from anyone, because most people simply cannot sense these things because they are consumed with trying to intellectually understand them, which does not work. So what can we do to validate ourselves? Here are 9 tips to increase inner validation, 3 of which are from the article in Psychology Today, and the last 6 are from my personal experience. Tip number 1. See success as a measure of doing what matters to us. Success is not about doing what others expect. Tip number 2. Make decisions based on what's right for us. By making conscious choices about how to allocate our time, we create our own life. Tip number 3. Learn what we value. Greater clarity may be gained by asking ourselves the following questions, which is tip number 4. The first question, ask ourselves, how do I feel? And then take time to listen and even write it down if you find it helpful. For example, if I would have been out of touch with how I felt on that days before the earthquake, I would not have noticed that I was feeling those things under my skin like that. I might have just gotten irritable or taken it out on someone or blamed it on not sleeping or whatever other physical issue I could have pointed the finger at. So knowing how we feel is a huge step in understanding and gaining that level of self-validation that we may seek. Tip number 5. The second question we can ask ourselves is, what do I need? It might seem like a basic question, but many of us don't know the answer to that. And if we don't know what we need, how can we possibly fulfill it? Or even ask it of someone else? Tip number 6. The third question is, what do I want? Again, it seems like a really simple question, but if we've been people-pleasing, thinking about what everyone else needs, or been surrounded by narcissists, we might not actually know what we want because what we want wasn't considered. Tip number 7. Value our truth and reality. How do you do that? Well, make the answers to the previous questions and any intuitive guidance we receive our deepest truth. Make that what's real for us, and then make all other choices accordingly. For example, if I ask myself, how do I feel? And my answer is exhausted. And I ask myself, what do I need? And the answer is sleep. And I ask myself, what do I want? And the answer is to cancel plans so I can go to bed. Then I can choose to do that and make it my reality. Tip number 8. Make haters invisible. We can treat ourselves lovingly by respecting our truth, and also treat others lovingly by allowing and not interfering with their choice to differ from our opinion. Their opinion is theirs. Their opinion can't be wrong for them. However, like the example in the earthquake, one turns out to be true and one not so much. Just remember, if they're not with us, they are against us, and it's best to know and accept this and keep it moving, so to speak. Tip number 9, know our worth and act on it. We can learn to include ourselves and what's real and true to us in the picture of our life and our decisions. By choosing inner validation about what's real to us over validation from others, we build our willpower to deepen our connection to intuition and truth. And each and every time we choose to not seek validation elsewhere and instead choose to seek validation through intuition and our personal truth, we build our confidence and our willpower. Each of us have the free will to choose what we focus upon. Now, in the past, our willpower muscles may have been inadvertently used to focus on getting validated by other people. If we feel ourselves slipping into that old habit and we don't like it anymore, we can gently, calmly, and kindly say to ourselves, I focus on the truth that I am worthy and okay, regardless of what anyone else says. Or we could say to ourselves, I focus on my deeper feelings, needs, and wants. Or we could say to ourselves, I focus on intuitive guidance now. Just feel how that feels inside of yourself right now at this very moment. Feel the difference between the feeling of, I focus on intuitive guidance now, versus, I focus on what he thinks about me. You probably notice it in different areas of your body. And you might notice a different kind of overall energy level. Just start to notice what you notice. There's a whole lot of great information available about the topics of self-validation and sanctification, and I recommend researching it further to discover ways to experience more contentment in your life. And now, we'll turn it over to you to consider. Will you seek validation from others, or will you be guided from within? While you think on it, we'll take a quick break to see what people have to say about us. When we come back, we'll hear what the crew has to say and talk tips and tools to wean ourselves from external validation by means of Mother Nature.
The Will You Grow show will now take 60 seconds to check in with you. If you're wondering how to apply a Grow Show topic to your life, here's what people say about mentoring with Angelique.
So most people, when they hear willpower, they don't think can-do power. They think willpower. Willpower to do something that they really didn't want to do in the first place. If I want to eat a cookie, if I have willpower, I won't eat that cookie. But what's really still true? I really wanted to eat that cookie. It's impossible to win using that old paradigm that I think we mostly think of as in willpower. And it took me a long time to realize that when Angelique says, will you, she really means, will you? And it is a question, will you join me in doing this work? In my life, will you? I get it. I can. I will be open to doing whatever the work is that calls me. I truly have appreciated and do appreciate having Angelique around. She's taught me a lot, and I think I've come to a different place and a great place because I get to know her.
This is your girl. Self-care is not selfish. If you really want to dig deep and stop living on the surface, then schedule a conversation with Angelique.
If you wish you had notes for today's show topic, your wish is granted. You can receive free weekly articles emailed to you every Sunday that match the show topic. And you'll have free anytime access to all prior articles, shows, adventure videos, affirmations, personal success stories, and the latest happenings at Will You. Here's what to do. Just click Show More in the description box. Then click the link for your free weekly inspirational article. Type in your email address, hit enter, and you're set. You'll start getting free weekly articles in your inbox every Sunday, and you'll have free anytime access to hundreds of inspirational ideas and support from Will You. Get your free show notes by clicking free weekly articles in the description box.
Welcome back! Now let's hear what the crew has to say about today's topic.
Well, you're wearing jeans today and you look mighty good. I had to say that. I'm sorry.
I'm regretting it. It's a little warm. It was so cold when I got up. I'm loaded up on external validation right now. I'm going to go buy another pair.
Just say, Lord have mercy, Benji's got his blue jeans on.
I'm all blue today. It's a blue memo.
Oh.
I'm still processing. I think a lot of this was new for me, just conceptually. I'm probably one of those people that has to intellectually understand something. I think you mentioned that. And also, I have some trusted authority figures for certain stuff. So, like, career-wise or just, like, I don't know, relationship-wise, so socially, like with friends or something like that, I'd have probably my mom or, Jenna, someone, my girlfriend. I will sort of cross-reference my thoughts with someone else's. So, you could call that external validation of my thoughts on different things in that sense. So, in summary, I still need to think a little bit more about this, I think, and maybe modify my system. I'm not unhappy with it, but it is external.
Go back to the 9 tips there at the end.
And maybe augment my internal mechanisms as well.
Oh, there you go.
I think naturally, if you would choose to augment your internal validation, you'll find new things. You'll discover new things.
Yeah. Well, because with both of those people I named, like, I probably know what they would say. I still check just to see. But, once that has been synthesized into your personality or whatever, do you really still need to speak with that person? I don't know. Or there's, totally new information.
Right.
When you acknowledge that and move on and continue.
Totally new. Like, even with the earthquake issue, your soul may be called to do things that your mom and your girlfriend don't understand.
Yeah.
Whether it's career choice or needing to move or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to those sort of destiny, soul choices, if we listen to what other people say, we may hold ourselves back from what we're actually called to be.
Mama don't want you to move in.
Don't want my baby to move away. Keep my baby here. For me, I was thinking about this while you were doing the first segment. I think, and I really truly believe this, and I'm probably wrong, but I truly believe this. I think as you get older, I think external validation is less important. It really is. You have gotten to a certain point in your life where you are what you are. Accept it. And if people want to accept it, great. If they don't, you're still going to live your life. And you're still going to be okay. There's, like Ben was talking, there's 2 people that I really value their opinion, and that's my wife and my daughter.
I don't think that's everybody, though.
That's not everybody. It isn't. No, I'm speaking for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm speaking strictly for myself.
Yeah.
Strictly for myself.
I've definitely met some older men in particular that
really
have to... Is this a woman's car? Should I not have gotten this car?
Oh, well, see, that's just...
Does this car, seem like it represents me when you see me in it?
So that's more grizzled, old... from a certain era.
I don't see Clint Eastwood asking anyone else if the car he's riding
No, I read
you
don't like this car.
Insecurity can be covered up by many names, but it's still what it is. Yeah, seeking external validation. It's, you look at it from the outside and say, how would it feel to be that man that he can't even make a decision about what kind of car to make
Yeah,
at
you already
whatever
bought the
age
car.
he is, at whatever age he is, how
Right.
old might you think he is? In his 60s somewhere, or
Yeah,
in his 60s?
at
So
the
he's
time maybe
Mm.
mid-50s.
in his mid 50s
Yeah.
and lacks the confidence to make a choice without someone else's
Yeah,
opinion.
it's just a car.
Well, not to him,
Well,
obviously.
he shouldn't have chosen like hot pink.
But we can kind of jab or joke or whatever we want to say about this. We're just looking at it, observing and discussing it. But we all have things about us that we might seek validation, and whatever it is that we seek the most validation about is something that we can work on. Like in the beginning, even with my own intuitive guidance, which no one else can hear or see or taste or touch or smell.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited about it and I wanted to share. I would get information about when people would die or when events might happen and things like that, and I would share it. And it's a great way to get shut down by people who are afraid or want to control how I think, because
Or rain on
that
your parade.
makes them very uncomfortable. They want to label me as being crazy, but this is the way life worked for probably since the beginning. We're not meant to not have this connection. It's just that many people don't have it because they haven't developed it. They don't know how.
Or they're unwilling or too stubborn.
Or all that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just encouraging everyone to go ahead and start exploring and developing their own inner validation, because the more we can do that, the more confident, the more self-assured, and the better connection we have with that source of all information. When they say all is one and one is all, we really do have the ability to tap into any information that we wish to receive.
And you'll feel better, too.
And you'll feel better because you don't need somebody else to make you feel okay.
That's right. And get off Facebook. Give up the social media.
Aha! And now it's Metaphysical Tool time. Today's tools consist of a healing stone, animal, and plant. As always, the information included is for educational and entertainment purposes only and are not a substitute for medical advice. As always, you are fully responsible for your choices. We do not encourage the worship of any healing tool mentioned in this or any video. We encourage everyone to appreciate the divinity within everything. Let's begin with today's healing color and stones. Ben, what can you share with us about rhodochrosite?
The following information is from healingcrystals.com and charmsoflight.com. Rhodochrosite can help us embrace the self. It can help us to understand that the self is part and parcel of divine source and its intuitive guidance. It can also help us to know that we are worthy of everything that the divine source has to offer. Rhodochrosite is a manganese carbonate mineral and is often associated with the heart chakra. Its typical colors are pink, rose, red, yellowish gray, brown, white, and gray. Healing with rhodochrosite can assist in feelings of comfort, harmony, friendship, kindness, tolerance, compassion, and self-love. Rhodochrosite is a stone that integrates both physical and spiritual energies. It can open the heart, lift depression, and encourage a positive and cheerful outlook. I'll look into it. It can improve self-worth and soothe emotional stress. Rhodochrosite encourages creativity and innovation and enhances dream states. Rhodochrosite can also regulate and stabilize the heartbeat, balance blood pressure, and stimulate circulation, the kidneys, and reproductive organs. It can alleviate migraines, skin disorders, thyroid imbalances, and intestinal problems. Rhodochrosite can also purify the circulatory system and restore poor eyesight. So I'm really going to have to look into.
Thank you, Ben. And our healing animal for today is the goose. Neil, would you share with us about the goose and its pertinence to today's topic?
Well, they must have known we were talking about them because they were flying over earlier, if you heard that. The following information is from theuniverseofsymbolism.com. The goose shows us the way to our inner knowing, guidance system, and our heart's desire. The goose has incredible reserves of stamina to fly thousands of miles each year, guided by its intuitive GPS. It knows what to do, when to eat, sleep, mate, and fly north or south, all based on instinct and intuition. Geese also mate for life, I did not know that, and behave based on what they want and need, not the need of others. We can learn a lot about inner validation and guidance from the good old goose. And here's a video of Angelique's goose encounter after meeting with a client last week.
Look, it's geese.
Thank you very much, Santa Neil. And today's healing flower is the Verbena occidentalis. Verbena occidentalis, also called yellow crownbeard, have yellow blossoms and bloom in mid to late summer. The Verbena occidentalis is like a couple of other Verbena species, such as the white ones we saw last week. Most crownbeards have a yellow blossom and bloom in mid to late summer. Yellow crownbeard is a very tall plant, from 3 to 10 feet tall, and it grows in partial shade and blooms with yellow flowers every fall in East Tennessee. They are wildflowers, which spread rapidly and are self-seeding. Flower heads are 3 to 6 inches across, and large leaves give them a tropical appearance, and they are a relative of the white plant that we saw last week. The flowers are an exceptional nectar and source for both butterflies and bees. I chose the yellow crownbeard as today's flower for 2 reasons. First, because its golden yellow color is representative of a strong solar plexus chakra, which is our center for personal truth, conviction, and willpower. And second, because it's wild and natural and not cultivated, just like our inner intuitive truth and guidance. So to sum things up, to allow ourselves to experience more inner validation and connection with intuition, we can learn about how we feel, what we need, and what we want. We can home in on our inner guidance system by meditating on the goose, watching live geese or a documentary. And we might take a drive to admire some fall wildflowers like these yellow crownbeards, and to wear a rhodochrosite gemstone to remind us that we are worthy of inner validation and intuitive guidance. So what say ye? Will you validate yourself? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments section so we may grow in strength and willpower together. And as always, we thank you for watching and sharing time with us. If you liked today's show, we'd be honored if you'd hit the like button and let us know that you like what we're doing. Hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive all new videos, and hit the share button to share this message with people you care about. We ask for these things because each time you like, subscribe, or share our videos, they become more visible via YouTube. And people can find and watch the video more readily and receive inspiration and tools for their healing. Your likes, your shares support healing. And that's what we're all about. And to receive free goodies from us and to see our other YouTube channels, check out our description box. If you'd like some personal support to put down your burden of seeking validation, schedule your complimentary conversation with me by clicking the link in the description box, or go to willyougrow.com to learn more. And I'll look forward to speaking with you soon. Because what have you got to lose? And for now, we bid you adieu. Take excellent care of your fine self, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Always with love, I send to you from Angelique.
For more information about programs offered by Will You, mentoring with Angelique, and to watch video success stories from clients, explore willyougrow.com. If you or your company are interested in inspiring our mutual audience by sponsoring this or another of our programs, let's talk about it. Boost viewer confidence and trust in your company. Call 1-833-WILL-YOU, then press extension number 6. Make sure to click the subscribe button to get reminders before upcoming shows.